The 5th of May, 2026, Tuesday morning. We're in chapter 6 from the perspective of the Mahayana tradition of common Buddhist texts, guidance, and insight from the Buddha. We already covered the Theravada tradition. After this, we'll see the perspective of Vajrayana also. Chapter 6 of the Buddhist Path and His Practice. Individual responsibility and personal effort. The power of aspiration. Son of a good family, aspiration is the root of all good qualities. Aspiration is the condition for the attainment of perfect awakening and its fruit of liberation. This can be cited in the Upasaka Sila Sutra Daso, Volume 24, Text 1488, Chapter 20. The perfect vigor employed for the benefits of others. At the time, the Blessed One said to Purna Matriya Ni Putra, if a great being wants to attain unsurpassed perfect awakening, then when he first sets his mind on awakening, he should think, everything I possess, my body and my mind, should be employed for the benefit of others, so that all their wishes will be fulfilled. A serving boy bears in mind that whatever he walks, stands, sits, or lies down, he should not do so arbitrarily, but with submission to his master. If he intends to go out to the market, he should first ask for his master's permission. He should only take food or drink if he has been obtained his master's permission. He should only do what his master wants. In just the same way, when great beings first set their minds on awakening, in order to attain unsurpassed perfect awakening, should think, whatever I possess, my body and mind, should not be employed arbitrarily, but only for the benefit of others. Everything that I intend to do should be directed towards that end. Thus rely on the perfection of vigor, making a great effort and never deviating from the perfection of vigor. They take the vow to do whatever will benefit living beings. All great beings should dwell in the perfection of the vigor in this way. A treasured horse, which is being ridden, thinks, I should not cause the rider's body to sway. I should not get tired or damage the harness, whether I move backwards, forwards, or stop. Moving slow or fast, I will serve the rider, taking good care of him without behaving in such a way as to make him angry. In just the same way, great beings who are practicing for the perfection of vigor do not act according to their own desires, but according to others' hopes. They act for the benefit of others. They act in order to take care of others. They act in such a way that no defilements or unwholesome actions will arise in their bodies. At first, people show no gratitude to these people, great beings, but have no expectation of reward. Their only aim is to help people in various different ways. Great beings, therefore, take care of their minds of others, act according to the will of others, realize different kinds of happiness and bliss in order to develop the perfection of vigors. Bodhisattvas, great beings, thereby take hold of the perfection of vigor and bring benefit and happiness to living beings as they were bringing benefits and happiness to themselves, without ever getting tired. This is how a bodhisattva dwells in the perfection of vigor, making a great effort. This can be cited from Mahaprana Parimitra Sutra, Daso, Volume 7, Text 220. The middle way. The need for effort that is neither too slack nor forced. This passage makes a simple but important point about spiritual effort. There was a renunciant who was reciting scriptures at night and who was melancholy. His mind was full of regret and doubt, and he wanted to return to the ordinary life. Gautama Buddha called the renunciant and asked him, "When you lived as a householder, what did you do?" He replied, "I used to play the lute." The Buddha said, "What happened if the strings were too slack?" He replied, "It wouldn't make any sound." The Buddha asked, "What if the strings were too taut?" He said, "The sound would be short and dampened." The Buddha asked, "What if the strings were neither too slack nor too taut?" He said, "The sounds were clearly audible." The Buddha returned and said to the renunciants, "Practicing the path is like this. If you adjust your mind properly, you will be successful on the path." This is cited from the Sutras of 42 sections, section 33, Tasso, volume 17, text 784. The need for a balanced attitude. This passage sees the middle way of practice as neither becoming or trapped in the mental constructions nor dogmatically avoiding any mental constructions. Its natures, though it's hard to pin down. Mental constructions are one extreme, and avoiding any mental constructions is the other extreme. Bodhisattvas avoid these two extremes. If the bodhisattvas do not engage with extremes or non-extremes, but they do not see the middle way either, if they see the middle way and engage in the middle way, then they engage with the extreme. The middle way is not something to be engaged with, to be seen, to be made manifest. Moreover, you should know that what is known as the middle way is nothing other than the Eightfold Path. This path is neither to be approached by apprehending phenomenon nor by observing phenomenon. This text is cited in the Mahaprana Prapamitra Sutra, Daso, volume 7, text 220. The Eight Noble Fold Path. This passage sees the factors of the path as unfolding from the first right view, irrespective of non-clinging, that sees that things that lack any fixed essence, Ananta Jana. What is the meaning of the path and purification of the path? The path is the Noble Eightfold Path, namely right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right meditative concentration. Right view is the eradication of false views that personality is somehow related to the essential classification identity to the self. It is beyond the scope of all views. If all views are completely purified in all situations, this enables one to recognize all forms of right thought. Both particularizing thought and generalizing thought is not really thought at all. Avoid both particularizing thought and generalizing thought, not indulging in erroneous ways of thinking. Do away with wrong thinking. This view leads to right livelihood. Seeing the ideas of livelihood, seeing the purity of livelihood, practicing pure livelihood leads to a right view of the purified activity of body, the purified activity of speech, and the purified activity of mind. Engaging in right action with right view of activity of speech enables one to see and to understand what right speech is. Practicing right speech leads to a purified view of right effort. Engaging in right effort based on right views leads to mindfulness that does not involve recollection, fixing the mind on anything, or grasping on it. Dwelling in right mindfulness with purified mind enable one to maintain right view of meditative concentration, one-pointedness. In meditative concentration of one-pointedness, there is nothing to base oneself on, yet it leads one to purify one's view of concentration. Ananta jana. When great beings, bodhisattvas, arihats, view things in this way, they attain a purified right view in all situations, remaining on the path of purity. This path of purity is the way of a good man. Practices. It is honored by the wise, loved by the noble ones, and praised by the Tathagatas. This text can be cited in the Varma Vayu Nidesa, section 7 from the Maharata Kuta Sutra, Daso, volume 11, text 310. The middle way avoids dualistic separation of things. This passage sees the path as being based on the perception that all is empty of an inherent nature, inherent existence, due to the deep interrelationship of all phenomenon, such as that dualistic separation of things, even nipita and the world of suffering is not valid. To practice in the middle way with insight into the essence of non-duality is to know the truth of the path. To understand that one cannot ultimately get hold of the path leading out of suffering, and to see the right understanding that everything is empty of inherent existence is to understand the path of the middle way. This can be cited from the sixth noumeno, phenomenal perfection from the Sutras, Daso, volume 8, text 261. The principle of dependent arising and the middle way. This passage is based on the idea that the dependent arising of all phenomenon means that they neither exist in a solid, unchanging, substantial way, nor are they completely non-existent. They form ephemeral flax whose nature is difficult to conceptualize. The middle way of practice is based on knowing this middle way kind of existence and not being attached to things as if their nature was different from this. Dependent arising is neither being nor non-being. It is neither real or unreal. Entering into the middle way is thus said to be of non-attachment. This is cited in the Maha Avatamsaka Sutra, Daso, volume 10, text 279. The principle of dependent arising and the middle way. This passage holds that the conditioned interdependent nature of phenomenon is so profound that it cannot be comprehended by means of concept and conventional thought, as it is inevitable and identical to nipita. It is useful to describe it thoroughly as having the middle way, nature that is beyond the extremes of complete non-existence and solid, substantial existence. Truly understood, phenomenon lack any spatial location, but ordinary people do not understand this and grasp at one of the two views in the nature of reality. All phenomena are included in dependent arising. Nothing which is included in dependent arising can be said to be either a middle or an extreme. If one leaves conventional expressions aside, one cannot get hold of anything, not even the least phenomenon. Ananta yuka. Now you should complete the non existence of the phenomenon. The Dharma without extreme, which is known as the middle way, as the expression of skill and means, it is said that there is an awakened wisdom which maintains the Dharma. But one cannot get hold of anything who maintains the Dharma, as there is nothing to get hold of. There is no conventional expression. Ananda yuka. You and all the wise should understand that the real essence of all phenomena is that they do not come, they do not go, they are indivisible, unceasing, not the same, not different, and ultimately arrive at the shore of all phenomenon. There is no phenomenon whatsoever that does not arrive on the other shore. The other shore is Nibbida. The essence of all phenomenon is undoubtedly Nibbida. This is why they are said to be infallible. It is only as a matter of convention that one can talk about the middle way. The middle way is the way that leads to Nibbida. Nevertheless, there is no Nibbida one can go to. If Nibbida were something one can go to, then all phenomenon would be involved in coming or going. The nature of all phenomenon is the same. This is why it is said that Nibbida is not something one can go to. This Ananda Yuka, this is what is called the middle way. This middle way, though it did not just be the middle way, why is this? It is whether it neither increases nor decreases. It involves no extremes. It involves no grasping to. If something involves no extreme, why are there extremes? Phenomenon had no location, so by their nature have no extremes. Ordinary people do not see this. Hold on to the view that there are extremes. Because of this view that there are extremes, they cannot attain vimoksha, liberation. Because in reality, nothing is located anywhere. It is only as an application of skills and means, Ananda Yuka, that the Tathagata has resolved in the wisdom to teach the middle way. This can be cited in Ananda Mukha Parisotana Nidesa, section 2 of the Maharakuta Sutra, Daso, volume 11. Text 310. We'll leave off there today on chapter 6 from the perspective of Mahayana tradition. As we pick up on the next one, on the path of the Bodhisattva as superior to those of the disciple of the solitary Buddha. This is from common Buddhist texts, guidance from and insight from the Buddha, Chief Editor, Maha Dr. Dhamma Kosajan.